Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to my biology classes. The topic for today's discussion is glycolysis. Glycolysis, as we all know, is a metabolic process or pathway that converts one molecule of glucose to two molecules of pyruvate. So this entire process of conversion of glucose to pyruvate or the process of glycolysis can be divided into two phases. One is the preparatory phase and the other is the payoff phase. The preparatory phase involves the investment of ATP, whereas the payoff phase involves generation of ATP. So now let's look into the detailed reactions of glycolysis. Glycolysis, as I've mentioned earlier, is the metabolic process or pathway that converts one molecule of glucose to two molecules of pyruvate. This is the one-line summary of the entire process. It starts with the conversion of glucose to glucose 6-phosphate with the consumption of ATP. Consumption of ATP means what? It is forming ADP from ATP. Hence, from the very first reaction, we see that there is investment of ATP, and this reaction is mediated by hexokinase. For hexokinase, the substrate is ATP2- magnesium ion complex. So ATP and magnesium here are together. ATP and magnesium separately don't act as substrate for hexokinase. So ATP2- and magnesium ion complex together act as the substrate for hexokinase. This reaction is an irreversible reaction where del G naught is negative. The value is minus 16.7 kilojoules per mole. So now let's study this with the structure of glucose 6-phosphate. Note the attachment of phosphate group at the 6th position. This reaction keeps the concentration of glucose low, thus promoting continuous transport of glucose in the cell. Glucose 6-phosphate, on the other hand, cannot freely diffuse out of the cell due to its charged nature. Now, to understand these cycles, I would suggest you to learn the structures very well. Without learning the structures, it will be really very difficult for you to understand these particular cycles. Now we'll move on to the next reaction. In the next reaction, glucose 6-phosphate is isomerized to fructose 6-phosphate, which is showing us a reversible reaction. This reversible reaction is mediated by phosphohexose isomerase. The reaction is driven forward when the concentration of fructose 6-phosphate is low, but it is high. But when it is high, the reaction runs in reverse. This fructose 6-phosphate will yield fructose 1,6-bisphosphate in a reaction which is mediated by phosphofructokinase 1. You can see here fructose 6-phosphate will yield fructose 1,6-bisphosphate by an irreversible reaction and this reaction will consume ATP. So by now we have seen two reactions that are consuming ATP. This reaction is also an irreversible one, which is mediated by phosphofructokinase 1. The value of del G naught over here is also negative. This is the rate limiting reaction of glycolysis. This irreversible reaction is also known as the Pace battery reaction of glycolysis. Now, this fructose 1,6-bisphosphate with two phosphate groups at position 1 and 6 will yield two 3-carbon compounds. This is mediated by which enzyme? This is mediated by aldolase. Aldolase will mediate this reaction to yield dihydroxyacetone phosphate and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. This is a reversible reaction and the value of delta G naught is positive. Now, note this part. This cleavage of fructose 1,6-bisphosphate to form dihydroxyacetone phosphate and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is very, very important, especially the position, the number of carbon. Please note these numbers. This is the structure of fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. Why is it 1,6-bisphosphate? Because one phosphate group is attached at the first position, the other is attached to the 6th position. Now this is how we number the carbon atoms: 4th, 5th and 6th. Okay. Now note this dotted line very carefully. Inside this dotted circle, what do you see? You see carbon number 4, 5 and 6, and outside this dotted circle you see carbon number 1, 2 and 3. Now this reversible reaction will yield which two products? DHAP and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Now let's make the structure of DHAP and G3P. Both of these are 3-carbon compounds, so it's easy to draw the linear structure like this. We'll simply draw it in this manner. I'm again and again telling you, please learn the structures well. Without learning the structures, it will be really very difficult for you to understand the reactions. So here you can see position 1, 2, 3. These 3 carbon will form your DHAP, and carbon at positions 4, 5 and 6 will yield glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. As I've said earlier, this is a reversible reaction, so del G naught is positive. Please note the point, the numbers inside this dotted circle will yield glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, and those outside this dotted circle will yield dihydroxyacetone phosphate. Okay, and this entire reaction was mediated by aldolase. Now we will come to the next reaction. So the cleavage of fructose 1,6-bisphosphate is clear, the enzyme is clear. Now we'll move on to the next. Now dihydroxyacetone phosphate and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, these two compounds can undergo isomerization through a reaction which is mediated by triose phosphate isomerase. Now we will see the reactions again from glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. This is the structure of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate as we have made it just now. Now glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate will form 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate in a reversible reaction through the formation of NADH plus. Now from where is this H coming? The H from the first position carbon of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is transferred to NAD plus. NAD plus gets reduced to form NADH plus, and the enzyme glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase also add cytosolic phosphate to the first position carbon to yield 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate. The next reaction is again an irreversible reaction mediated by phosphoglycerate kinase. This is an ATP yielding step. An ATP yielding step means what? We see formation of ATP over here. So this ATP yielding step leaves us with 3-phosphoglycerate. Now this 3-phosphoglycerate will be converted to 2-phosphoglycerate by an enzyme called phosphoglycerate mutase. This phosphoglycerate mutase will convert 3-phosphoglycerate to 2-phosphoglycerate. For convenience or due to shortage of space, I have drawn the structure towards the right. Now this 2-phosphoglycerate will yield phosphoenol pyruvate by giving up one molecule of water. This one molecule of water goes out, which is an enol intermediate, and this will yield phosphoenol pyruvate. This reaction is mediated by enolase. Finally, the conversion of phosphoenol pyruvate will result in formation of ATP, and this final reaction of glycolysis is mediated by pyruvate kinase. So here also we see generation of ATP. So this is how we come to the end of 10 reactions. The first 5 belong to the preparatory phase and the next 5 belongs to the payoff phase where we yield ATP. Preparatory phase was the investment of ATP. Right? The 3 most important inhibitors of glycolysis are iodoacetate, which inhibits glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase, arsenate that inhibits ATP synthesis at step number 7, and fluoride that inhibits enolase enzyme at step number 9. So these are the 3 most important inhibitors that are found to inhibit the process of glycolysis. Thank you so very much for watching this video lecture. If you have any doubt or confusion anywhere, please feel free to get back to me in the comment section and I'll try my level best to clear your confusions. Thank you.